it down. So it's like this. Comes in a little glass jar, and I'm dropping everything. I'm almost out, so it looks like that. It's just like a gel base type, so it's almost like a gel eyeliner. So and what else you need is, I use a light color concealer for underneath my brow, and then I use a darker color concealer for on the top. So you're gonna need 1 or 2 concealers. You can use one, it's fine. And then just, if you want to use the light color for both the bottom and the top, you can just go over it with foundation if you don't like the highlighted effect. You're gonna need some kind of flat brush. So this is a Morphe 410, an M410. So this one is really, really flat. And then I also use this brush to blend it out, so it's not just one white line and one dark line. Okay, so you're gonna need a angled brush, and the one I use is, if I can find it, I think this is an Anastasia brush. Yep, this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills brush. This is the number 12. I have this one. It has the spoolie on the end. You don't necessarily have to get this one. e.l.f. has one. I think a bunch of companies have one. So I dip into the pomade and I grab some on my brush. I don't use this much product. I take a, yeah, this is dirty, but I just fold it over to when I'm done, and then when it's all full, I throw it in the wash. So, and this side's stained. So I take the side of the bristle and I wipe off the excess, and I use whatever's left on the tip of the brush. So after that, I'm going to take the brush and I'm going to have the pointed end towards the front of my brow, and I'm going to do one line for the bottom. So I start at the end of my brow, and like I said, if you want a more natural brow, I don't know how to do those. So these are the thick Instagram brows. And it's okay if you mess up, because like I said, you can use the concealer to correct it. And you go all the way like that. Now, when you do the tails, you can do them as long as you want, but once you conceal, you're gonna go from wherever the end of the brush or wherever the end of your eye is. So what I like to do is, if I go too far, then I wipe off whatever I just did. So it's only as long as it's supposed to be. And then for the top part of my brow, I do the same thing. Pick up more product, wipe off the sides, and I do the same thing. The pointed end goes towards the front of my brow, except for I don't go all the way to the end of my brow. I start right here, where like the front of my brow ends. And I draw another line. But what I like to do is I try to stay on where my hairs grow, my natural hairs grow, and I just make the shape like that. So I know underneath, because I don't really have, like, my brows are this big. They will not grow except for maybe way down here, and I get a few. So like my hairs are starting to grow, and I'm trying not to tweeze them, but they will not grow, and I'm praying to God that they do. So if you're wondering, well, geez, why do you draw your brows so big? Because this is how I want my brows. So that's the shape that I get. So that's the shape that I'm looking for. So then what I do is I just dip back into the pomade again. And I color in So after that's colored in, I do not dip back in after I colored in my brows. Whatever's left on my brush, I take it and I do strokes upward. I try to start from the back end of my brow because that's where it's going to be dark, and then fade into the lighter part. If it gets real dark in the front, I'll show you. So then the brows look like this. So then what I do is I take my spoolie and I brush upward and inward, and then I take the spoolie and I hold my hand this way and I drag some of the color from the inside of my brow outward. And if I took too much off, see how I erase that? I'll just go back in and color more. I don't dip back in, I just whatever's on there, because like I said, the front of your brows are going to be like the lightest. If you took too much off, then you can lightly dip in there, so just lightly pick some up, because like I said, this stuff is like really creamy and it works really well. So like so. So like I said, you can get them however you think you want them. Okay, now oh, and I forgot to mention the brow gel. I use ColourPop brow gel. This is just the clear one. So it's a little, like I said, you can use, well, you can use clear mascara if you want, or Anastasia or ColourPop sells these. I think every brand does, but this I think is like $5 or $6, so I use this one. They have tinted ones that are the same color as your eyebrows if you want them. So now what I do is I take my e.l.f. concealer, which is the light one. So I take the light colored concealer and I'll take the brush and I dip the brush onto the applicator. And I take as much concealer as I think I'm going to use. So I just fill the brush as much as possible because I'm going to use all of it, and then I'll just blend it all away. So what the concealer is for is if you mess up and you have any spots where you went out of the shape that you made, or if you want to make them thinner, you want to make them sharper. So I use the concealer to fix and to sharpen the tail. So then what I do is I'll take the concealer and I'll drag it downward towards my eye, because I use concealer for my eye as well to prime. So if I bring it down, then it just mixes with the other one when I go to put the other one on. So then that's where this brush comes in. I take this brush and I just buff as close as I can to the brow without messing up. And you can wipe off if you go out too far, if you don't want it to be that white on the outside. And then I like to use these LA Girl Pro concealers because they have the brush on the end, so I don't have to use the brush again. So I take it and I'll just run it across the top of my brow. And I do start from the beginning. I know everybody's like, oh, don't do boxed eyebrows, but this is how I do mine. You know, like I said, you guys don't have to. this is just how I do my brows. So like so. And then I'll take the brush that I use for the bottom part of my brows and I will blend out the concealer on the top. And sometimes I mess up, so I do have to go back in with the pomade. Because see, I got some in my brows. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So like so. I go for. Then I take my brow gel. So it's nothing really too complicated because I'm just hiding my brows. I take the brow gel, push it on the eyebrows, the front I stand up, the rest of my brows I lay down. I know I have hairs that do not stand down, so like I have this one and this one that won't, but that's just how I do that. And then I do the same thing to the other side. I try to get them as close to the same shape as possible. What I like to do is I like to look up so I can see how the shape goes right here. Because then normally if I can get this, I can do the top easily. So that's how I do my brows.